The lessons from Formula One teams, what can we learn from them? And especially on the topic of how to organize for agility and innovation. Everyone is looking for ways to become agile, to innovate faster. And many companies start by, for example, adopting agile practices in IT, which is a great start. But unfortunately, most of the time when I come into a company, I see this. Right? This little red thingy here is our Agile project, and finally we're Agile. I mean, that's great. I mean, we can be proud of that. But as you can see, there's another big, hairy problem out there that needs to be solved as well. I went on a tour to visit some of the most innovative, digital, fast innovating companies in the world. I was invited to come over to Milton Keynes, which is in the UK, just north of London, where the Red Bull Racing factory is at. They spend an enormous amount of time reviewing and learning what happened. Actually, this reviewing process takes longer than the actual race. So it's something you can think of in your own organizations. How often do we actually sit down, reflect, and learn from things? And they just do it all the time. It's built in their way of working. So what would happen in your company if one person's mistake would lead to a loss of 5% of the yearly revenue? So there's this great quote I like from Paddy Lowe. And he says, every time you have a negative response to an issue, you're denying yourself the opportunity to improve. Yeah, take photos of that one. I love it. I mean, if you don't make any mistakes, you are not pushing to the limit. And this is very obvious within Formula One. It's less obvious in most of the organizations, but something to think about. Are your people pushing to the limit? And definitely they won't do that if they know they're going to get fired or blamed for making mistakes. It's part of innovating. So I say this one is more efficient because... And the other one is more effective, right? I mean, this is trading off efficiency for effectiveness. Because, you know, when they are racing, about 20 people sit on the bench looking at the screens, watching Formula One. And in the other situation, there are only 2 or 3 people that are doing nothing. So we have to start looking at, are we optimizing for efficiency or for effectiveness? And a lot of these progressive modern days organizations, they optimize for effectiveness. They don't care if somebody plays football table for a while. They don't care if people take a long break or they take more vacation days than the rule says, because it's effective. Purpose. This is what you see when you enter Red Bull Racing. The first thing you see when you enter the office is this big wall of prizes. And what I think it does is it gives everyone a shared understanding of why we're doing what we're doing. I mean, Formula One teams have a very clear purpose. Win races, win the championships. And that's very easy. Having this clear connection drives motivation. If I know why I'm doing this and why what I'm doing today is helping the company succeed, it will lead to me being ready to perform. So the real agile organizations, we could also call them responsive organizations, they change the way they work all the time. As opposed to most traditional organizations where change is something to be avoided. And I'd like to encourage you with this quote. People who say it cannot be done should not interrupt those who are doing it. Right? So it's not easy to change some of these things, but it's definitely possible. It takes a lot of effort and deliberate action to start changing your organization into something that's better. But it can be done, and don't just get distracted by all the naysayers in there.